There is a golden rule on Wall Street. You can lie to investors, you can embellish your metrics, but you never, under any circumstances, trick Jamie Dimon. Yet, in the summer of 2021, America's largest bank handed over $175 million to a 24-year-old tech founder named Charlie Javice. They believed they had just bought the future of finance. In reality, they had just acquired a multi-million-dollar crime scene. Charlie's pitch was simple, brilliant, and entirely necessary. Her startup, Frank, promised to fix the most painful financial process in America, applying for college financial aid. To Wall Street, she wasn't just an entrepreneur, she was the next Elizabeth Holmes before the scandal, and she had something JPMorgan desperately wanted: data on 4.25 million college students. But JPMorgan's executives made a fatal mistake. Driven by the fear of missing out, they rushed their due diligence. They wanted proof that those 4 million users were real. They demanded a complete list of names, emails, and birthdays before wiring the cash. Charlie had a massive problem. Her app didn't have 4 million users. It had less than 300,000. With $175 million dangling right in front of her, Charlie didn't back down. Instead, she chose to build an illusion. She approached a data scientist and paid $18,000 to do the unthinkable: write a computer code that would artificially manufacture nearly 4 million fake human beings. First names, last names, fake emails, fabricated birthdays. Millions of lines of synthetic data injected into a spreadsheet. The bank's third-party verification team looked at the massive file size, saw over 4 million rows of data, and checked the box. The deal was finalized. The money was wired. Charlie was rich. And the trap was set. For the first few months, Charlie was untouchable. JPMorgan celebrated the acquisition, and she was immediately hired as a managing director at the bank, pulling in a massive salary, alongside a $20 million retention bonus. She had successfully transitioned from an ambitious tech founder to an elite Wall Street executive. But the problem with building a house of cards is that eventually someone opens a window. The collapse began with a simple test. JPMorgan's marketing team wanted to launch a massive promotional email campaign to their newly acquired 4.25 million student users. They selected a random sample pool of just 300,000 student profiles and hit send. The result was an absolute catastrophe. Over 70% of the emails instantly bounced back. The system logs lit up bright red with delivery failure alerts. Millions of users didn't just close their accounts, they simply didn't exist. Terrified of a massive data corruption issue, JPMorgan's senior tech engineers were pulled in for an emergency forensic audit. They bypassed the polished interfaces and looked directly into the server logs. What they found wasn't a technical glitch, it was a ghost town. When they examined the database rows, they found identical account structures, repetitive naming algorithms, and data patterns that no human population could replicate. The synthetic coding paid for in secret had left a digital fingerprint across the entire asset. The bank didn't just fire Charlie, they unleashed their entire legal empire against her. By early 2023, the FBI stepped in. Federal prosecutors in Manhattan unsealed a devastating 4-count grand jury indictment, charging her with wire fraud, bank fraud, and securities conspiracy charges carrying up to 30 years in a federal penitentiary. The Wharton Golden Girl who fooled the biggest bank in America was now staring down the barrel of a multi-decade prison sentence. During her grueling 5-week federal trial, the full depth of the illusion was laid bare. Prosecutors brought her hired data scientist to the stand. He testified that Charlie had forced him into an urgent pinch to invent 4 million synthetic profiles over a single all-nighter. Worse, she paid him $18,000 and explicitly ordered him to delete any mention of the fake data from his final invoice. In a text message sent to her partner right after the forgery was completed, Charlie wrote a single chilling phrase: "I found my genius." The federal judge was ruthless. He called her deception biblical, stating that among the many commandments in the Bible are the commandments of just weights and measures, and hers was not a just measure. Charlie Javice was officially sentenced to 85 months in federal prison and ordered to pay a staggering $287 million in joint restitution. JPMorgan's CEO Jamie Dimon later admitted to his elite shareholders that buying her company was a massive, humiliating mistake.